Hey everyone, this is basketball-loving Dr. NBA. Today I've got an interesting story to tell. The national festival that is opened every 4 years. There are different kinds of sports in the Winter and Summer Olympics. And out of those sports with fancy movements and plays that take the heart of the fans, those sports need art, creativity, precision, and other difficult skills. And these skills are needed in the best basketball league in the world, the NBA. And for once a year, in one day, they're needed for the slam dunk contest. On this day, the attending players' dunks show a difficult and creative performance, and for centuries, ideas for dunks have built up, and the expectation for the fans have gotten way higher. But this one man who didn't just meet the expectation of the fans, but drove through them. This main character that took the hearts of all the fans in the NBA world with one dunk, Zach LaVine. Even though he had a short time, the techniques he shows in mid-air and the way he dunks it down, there's no way to describe how beautiful it is, and it's pretty much art by itself. Today, we will see how LaVine was able to dunk like this, and what environment and techniques were needed, and how the fans went crazy for him, and how his public image was different. (1995) Zach LaVine was born in Washington, US, in a city called Renton. His African-American father being a former football player, and his Caucasian mother being a softball player. And maybe because he had sports genes in him, he started to show interest in different kinds of sports at an early age. At 7 years old, he decided he would be an athlete like his parents. And at the time, his father had retired from football and started to play softball. So with that in mind, LaVine started to put baseball first. But suddenly, he changed his dream one day to become a basketball player. That reason was because of the movie Michael Jordan had featured in. LaVine had watched Space Jam. He watched it repeatedly, and he tried all the moves Michael Jordan used in the movie, and he fell for basketball. And from there on, he would practice his basic layups every day in his backyard, and also practice his three-pointers and dribbling skills. At the time, for his son's conditioning and training, his father would train him with his football experience, so LaVine's jump and speed had improved way too fast. And as a result, when he was only 5'8", at 14 years old, in grade 8, he had made his first dunk. After that, he was selected in his 10th year to the school basketball team, and had an average of 26 points, showing great offense, and also showing his worth. And growing to 6'3" in his 11th year, he spent a lot of time training for his interest in dunks, and his average a year later was 28.5 points, and was considered the best rookie in Washington. And LaVine went to many famous camps for elite prospects, and he met NBA players who attended events and won dunk contests, and did whatever he could to spread his name around the whole nation. And so he was ranked 44th in the nation, and enrolled right away to the prestigious UCLA University. And even though he was only a starting member in one game, he was a part of the six men, even though he was a bench member. His explosive speed and athletic abilities would be his base for his driving and dribbling skills, and he was able to make jump shots wherever the range would be, and with that, he helped the team's record a lot. And after finishing his freshman year in university, he entered the 2014 NBA draft, and LaVine, with a height of 6'6", having a taller than average height for a point guard, had speed of 10.9 seconds in a 100-meter dash, and had a 3'10" jumping height, and had various shooting skills that were ranked pretty decently. His result, even though he was a bench member with an average of below 10 points, he was picked 13th out of 60 players and joined the Minnesota Timberwolves. He did start basketball because of legend Michael Jordan, but LaVine's role model when he was a kid was legend Kobe Bryant, and when he practiced every day, he copied his shooting stance. And because so, when he dribbles and goes up for a jump shot, his stance does not break in any direction, even if his body is slanted in mid-air. Seeing glances of Kobe Bryant. And plus, his jumping ability that is very light, he would dunk with that skill. and he ran the show in the preseason. And as soon as Zach LaVine started the 14-15 season, he was a garbage member. Unfortunately, he would be on the bench for 5 games since the start, and threw away 3 games and only played 6.5 minutes in the other 2 games. But luckily enough, he had gotten a starting position. And that reason was a key member of the team had gotten injured, and they needed a point guard to fill that position. And even though he was still weak as a point guard on passing and leading the team, and made mistakes on the way, his playtime was extended 4 times than before, and had many opportunities given to him. And as expected, he showed great performance on offense. On transitions, he looked like a track and field runner, just booking it, and ended that rush with a slam dunk. With his explosive speed and dribbling skills, he would drive, or he would pull up for a jump shot while moving, and made the defenders look like nothing while they were guarding him. And this ability to make his opponents look like nothing was shown in the 2015 Slam Dunk Contest. On that day, LaVine wore the uniform Michael Jordan had worn in Space Jam, and made a dunk through his legs from the back of the backboard. That was really difficult, and all the judges gave him 10 out of 10 for it. And plus that, he made 3 more fancy dunks successfully, and had 194 points out of 200 points, and silenced the 3 other contestants and took the championship cup. And a year later, LaVine entered the dunk contest again to improve his level even more. But Aaron Gordon, another contestant, showed dynamic and creative dunks as well. And he had a chance at LaVine's championship title. And in the final round, showed a crazy performance and got 10 points from all 5 judges, wowing everybody. But of course, LaVine didn't want to be humiliated, so he didn't just jump from the free throw line. He also made a windmill dunk while spinning the ball in one hand, and also got 10 points from all the judges, and they had no choice but to go to overtime. But because they both got 50 points again for the first time in history in a dunk contest, they would go to second overtime. And usually, it would be normal for players to run out of ideas at that point, and after a difficult but not as creative dunk was made by Aaron Gordon, he got a score that was 3 points less. And from there, LaVine would jump near the free throw line, through his legs and dunk. And making a dunk that was too difficult to even be attempted, he shook the world and won his second championship trophy. And the total points for all 6 dunks LaVine had made were 299 points out of 300 points. And from there, people's expectations had grown too much. There was not another dunk contest like that. Since 2016, to this day, there is nothing compared to that. Anyways, Zach LaVine shook the world with one dunk, and he showed a surprising side of himself to the fans in the regular season. Which was that he was terrible at basketball. His athletic ability would definitely be ranked first compared to other NBA players. That's how much his physical traits were amazing. But his knowledge for 5-on-5 basketball was very low. For offense, in a transition or so, with 3 defenders in front of him, he should regroup with his team, but he would just run into that pile and get blocked. His patience and skill in the paint zone lacked, so he would drive through everyone and not be able to get the point many times. And plus that, he had unsteady dribbling patterns and a one-dimension passing style. And as his position was a point guard in his first bit of the season, he did not have one right thing in his repertoire. And the most critical flaw was his defense. His one-on-one defense was okay, but not enough to be trustworthy. And he had a bad habit of following the ball around. Giving space up to opponents off a screen was the basics. And when it got worse, LaVine would get his paths mixed up with his teammates, leaving the defense in total catastrophe. LaVine would only focus on the person who has the ball, so he couldn't find opponents that were open. And in a 2-man screen play or other difficult offensive plays, he would fall for all of them. And seeing this from a third-person view, the fans thought he really sucked at basketball. but trying to feed LaVine experience so his potential could be shown. The head coach's plan had worked. After the long and hard time he spent playing point guard, LaVine's offensive ability had become an average skill. And after his second dunk contest championship in the second half of the 15-16 season, he got the main position for shooting guard, and his speed for improvement was amazing. And after his third year playing, he had a game where he got 40 points, showing how fast his gameplay had improved. With his sight getting widened, and finding a position that suited him, his confidence grew, and his ball handling and various patterns of dribbling and gameplay had become very steady. In the past, he only had advantages in transitions, but now with the help of his teammates' screens, he was able to be used in different types of game tactics. And through these changes, the fans were able to see LaVine's flexibility in his game and thought process. And seeing this young, 21-year-old player's improving rate, the fans were all happy with him. But one day, they were hit with shocking news, and that was that LaVine ruptured his front cross ligament. And at the time, with an injury that could ruin an athlete's career, he didn't switch out and played another 6 minutes. The Minnesota coach, who was famous for overplaying players, was criticized immensely by all the fans after this day. With his potential now showing, he injured his knee and LaVine's future had looked darker than ever. Zach LaVine with worth dropping because of his injury. But fortunately in all of this, his playing style was not based on his athletic abilities alone. It would look like LaVine would only dunk in games, but his points were mostly 3-point shots or jump shots. And after surgery, if he rehabs and takes care of his body properly, it was said that he could go back to his old self and play the same. And at the time, the Chicago Bulls had offered a trade for him. With LaVine's style, having to have possession of the ball in order to shine, it collided with other key players of the team, so there wasn't great synergy. And so, from Minnesota's point of view, trading LaVine was the best chance they had. Anyways, now wearing a different jersey, LaVine under the Chicago Bulls would focus on rehab. And as time went by, on January 14, 2018, he finally returned to the court. And because it has been a while, he did look a bit stiff, but they won by 2 points, and he had 14 points, and he put up 3 3-point shots out of 4, and he had hope on his future from there on. And with the right amount of gameplay, and resting in a game, when there were 2 games in a row, with the help of the association, LaVine put up 35 points in one game, showing that he found his old self again. And even though his speed and jumping ability had slowed down, in the next 18-19 season, he showed a 360 dunk and many other great performances, reliving his glory like the old days. And for the best shooter on the team, the head coach would support him with all the screens needed, and so LaVine, from the opening game to 4 games, had over 30 points per game, and moving forward, had his career high of 47 points, and was 16th in point averages, and was a much better player than he was in Minnesota. But no matter how good he was on offense, all the good things done were forgotten because of his terrible defense, and his imprecise passes that led to turnovers, so LaVine's ratings were not so great. But with his amazing jump shot at his side, and his competitiveness to win no matter what, and his devotion to the team, he was able to win many miracle wins. And out of those in the 1920 season, on November 23, 2019, that game was electrifying. At the time, the Bulls were losing by 7 points with 30 seconds left in the game, and it was a situation of losing for sure. But Zach LaVine didn't give up and shot 3-pointers relentlessly, and with 0.8 seconds left, he shot not a 2-pointer, but a 3-pointer for the winning shot, and ended the game. It was one of the few come-from-behind games in NBA history. It was a sign that LaVine fully recovered from his injury. Because of legend Michael Jordan's movie, he dreamt of playing in the NBA. And in reality, he did play for the Chicago Bulls, and showed his best performances there. And with his ruptured ligament injury in his third year, he was unable to recover his athletic ability 100%. But the performance he showed in the dunk contest, with 4 years past, and to this day, is still not forgotten by anybody. That's how big of an impact he had. And which contestant will be able to surpass him? We will see what will happen in future dunk contests. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with better content next time. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe.